Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's our weekly party, and I'm doing an audio test again because I couldn't hear anything. Just waiting for Caitlin to give me the thumbs up that she can hear me. I hope you guys can hear me. Still on the thing, huh? That's weird. Yes, okay. Well, I got some people in the chat saying they can hear me, so Caitlin's system is way behind. I'm so sorry, guys. This is what happens when you try to add new things into the stream. I was trying to use new audio processing software, and it wasn't going so well. Because I wanted to add my own background music, not the built-in music to the stream software. Okay, so I see some of our chat all-stars. Herminia, I see you. Mrs. Marie. Joseph. Who else we got in here? Justin. A lot of the regulars in there. I see some new names here as well. So we'll go through. I am going to take questions. So obviously tonight, this is the update for the transcripts. We're looking for the update tomorrow morning, Friday morning, for the weekly transcripts. And now my wife, my beautiful wife, has given me the thumbs up that she can hear me. So yeah, this is our weekly update that we're looking for on the transcripts. I know everyone pretty much in the chat has been waiting. A lot of you have been waiting for well over a month at this point. It is frustrating. I've been there. I understand. I did make some new slides for this stream tonight, so I'm going to be putting these up. Actually, I think I'll just go through these right now, because these are the questions. I think if you guys have been following, we get these same questions every week. I figured, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read through these questions. We'll read through these slides I made, and then when people ask the questions again, because you know that we're going to have people coming in and out of the stream, and they're going to ask the same questions about certain things here. So I'm going to answer these questions here through these slides, and then when people ask later in the stream, because we're going to be here for a couple hours, I'll just put the slides back up. I'll acknowledge their chat. I'll put it up on the screen, and then I'll put the slide up, so that you guys don't have to keep hearing me say the same thing about 50 times. So, boom. This the first set of slides here, this is all about the where's my refund status. Okay, so if you guys have been following my streams, or if you ever read the comments, you know that these are some common things that are get asked, like, what does tax topic 152 mean? It's pretty simple. It's generic information about tax refunds. It means that the tax return is on file in the system and it has a refund requested on your 1040 form. Tax topic 152 will not tell you anything about the processing status of your return. So whether you have it on your Where's My Refund status or you don't have it on your Where's My Refund status, it is neither good nor is it bad. Slide number 2, I have why does my Where's My Refund message have the bars gone and say it's processing? As you guys that are regulars here have heard me say, this is an automatic update that occurs within the system after the return has sat in the the IRS servers unprocessed for an extended period of time. It typically changes on the 8th day that your return has been in the system. It simply means that time has passed without your return being completed. You could, in theory, get an update on Where's My Refund after, before the next message hits, where the next automatic message hits, where they have finished the process of your return, and then you get 2 bars. But if it wasn't finished by that point, then it would go to the next stage of processing, which is where the message changes to that it's still processing, which is just another generic message that appears a few days after the initial processing message, when your bars first disappeared. Once again, these are pre-programmed, scheduled into the system, and they occur after a certain length of time. There is no way to derive for you, one way or another, how much longer your return is going to complete much longer your return will take to complete, based on these messages alone. As I've always said, the best way you're going to get information is by checking your tax transcripts, which is why we are here tonight, for those people that are going to have the ability to check their tax transcript and hopefully see that glorious, glorious, sweet, sweet 846 code. Why does Where's My Refund now say there's a delay? This is the third in this set of messages that appears after the still processing message. At this point, you've obviously already figured out that there is some sort of delay, because for many of you, you've been waiting for like a month at this point. And unfortunately, there is no way to tell how long this delay will take based on the message. It completely depends on what is causing the delay. Could you be in review? Are you just simply stuck in the black hole of that backlog? Did you claim deductions or credits that the system automatically flags to be held until the end of the tax season? The best way to get some of the answers to these questions is to refer to your account transcript and look at your codes. Also, make sure you review your return to see if some of the credits that you claimed could be causing a delay. In other words, maybe you claimed missed stimulus payments, recovery rebate, the look-back child tax credit, or maybe you claimed a new dependent. Those all could possibly cause a delay. So those are the slides I'll put up for these like really common questions. I've also added the slides to the stream from the other day where I talked about the recovery rebate credit specifically and the look-back credit, because those are causing delays for people, particularly if they misreported not receiving them. So, without further ado, I'm back. And also, if there's, once the stream is complete, this stream will be up for reference for people, but you can always refer to the DS Entertainment YouTube channel. Plenty of videos there for you guys to search through, get all sorts of tax information, or maybe if you want to take a break from the taxes, you can check some of my other videos out too, particularly the Bob Ross series. Those of you who've been following me for a while know I'm painting every single Bob Ross picture. And so, yeah, there's that. All right, to the chat. I guess I'm going to work my way to the top here. So, guys, there's going to be a bit of a delay. I'm always delayed anyway, but obviously we started late. Well, actually, I started early either way, but so Mike really wanted to know if the transcripts will update today and Where's My Refund will show in the morning. No, the transcripts are going to update overnight tonight. So Friday morning, the transcripts will update. And if you get the 846 refund issue code, then your transcript would update on Saturday. I mean, your Where's My Refund would update on Saturday. So you would need to have an 846 refund issued on Friday morning on the transcript in order to get that Saturday Where's My Refund 2 bars and deposit for Wednesday, March 9th. Mia just wants the money now. Doesn't everybody want the money now? Armenia is going to be very sad if she doesn't get a direct deposit date tomorrow. Jesse and Jessica, also still in the process for a month. Joseph has been waiting 40 days with the delayed message. It's crazy. Joe updated last week to a 570 message. 570 code on her transcript. I did do a video 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, on the 570 messages. There's different reasons. Oh, there was a slide I did on that, actually. Let me add the slide here. It disappeared. Ah, here we go. All right. So let me remove Joe's comment here. And let me get myself out of here for a second. I also listed some of the reasons that people could get their return flagged for review. And as the slide states, these are certainly not all the reasons, but they are some of the most common. And also, returns may not always get flagged for these either. So just because you did one of these things might not mean that you would get flagged. But if you have multiple of these things, you're almost certainly going to get flagged, and your return will get kicked over to review. Itemized deductions. When people claim itemized deductions on their return, they almost always get held back for. There's always a delay, usually of at least a few weeks, sometimes way longer. If a new dependent is being claimed, ever since they instituted the new credits last year for recovery rebate and the advanced child tax payments, now having a new dependent being claimed can sometimes get you kicked over for review. Recovery rebate credit, same thing as having a new dependent being claimed. If you're trying to get back some of the stimulus that was missed, it could have been because there's a high chance that people misreport it. Maybe they accidentally claim it. Maybe they claim it, but it doesn't match what the IRS has on file. That can be flagged for review. The child tax credit payments that you reported that you received don't match what the IRS has on file. The look-back credit can get you flagged for review if your earned income for the current year is over the threshold. They're going to flag you for review on the look-back credit. Your W-2 wages or your 1099 forms don't match what has been turned into the IRS from your employer, so it's either incomplete or doesn't match. Now they're going to have to verify everything, so that can get flagged for review. Identity verification. They'll send you a letter, tell you need to verify your identity. You do what the letter tells you to do. Usually that can be resolved fairly quickly. And if you have offsets on file for debts owed to other agencies, that can also trigger a flag for review. So there's all sorts of reasons that you could get flagged for review. Maybe you fall into one of those categories, and that's why you've seen a 570 on your return. Just going to go through some of the comments here. Mrs. Marie says, it's my money and I need it now. Maybe you should call J.G. Wentworth. Actually, guys, you know what song I had stuck in my head today? And maybe you want to throw up. Was the IRS song. You know the song? I'm sure you all have called the IRS and been on hold for an hour. You know that stupid song they play over and over and over again? Doom, 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 doom. I had that song stuck in my head all day. That's because I spent 3 hours on the phone yesterday with the IRS trying to get some information about my amended return status. That's a nightmare. I've had an amended return in the system for almost a year now, so... Yeah, the IRS owes me some money too, guys. And they've owed it to me for a year. Just to give you an idea of how far behind I am in the chat. Here's Caitlin's comment from about 20 minutes now. Just like to welcome all the newbies that have joined us tonight. I know, let me see if I can find her here. Where's Grace? Grace, I saw you in the... Here's Grace. I know Grace has been putting the word out. Grace said, my transcripts updated last week with a 570 and 971. They adjusted the amount and also added my rebate. And missing stimulus. Do you think I'll update tomorrow? I think if they already adjusted it, you will see an update. If they've already made the adjustment, and it's already been reflected, then hopefully tomorrow when you wake up, you will see that 571 release code and the 846 refund issue code for Wednesday, March 9th. Let's cross our fingers and hope that's what happens. Peaches, hi. Just going back through Miss Pamela. Hey. Josh Campbell. Still no transcripts. IRS says 10 weeks to either get processed or receive correspondence. Yeah, they are very, very backlogged, guys. Southern Taste is in the chat. Still has an NA on the transcript. Well, let's hope a lot of you guys that have been having the NA on the transcript for a few weeks now will at least be able to see your transcript tomorrow to figure out what's going on. Okay, I think I've gotten through all the hellos and the heys, so I can go down further to try to catch up on some of these questions. Teresa wants to know how she can check her transcript on the tax slayer refund. Interesting question. You don't have access to the IRS transcript? You would want to go to the Get Transcript page on the IRS, which if you Google Get Transcript, it would be the first page that pops up. You can get transcript online and either create an ID.me account if you don't have one, or you can sign in with one if you have it. Maybe you set one up when you did the child tax portal, or you can sign in with an existing IRS username, which is what I do because that's how I set up my account years ago. That's how you check your transcripts, and that would always update before Where's My Refund. Also, everyone, that status you get from your tax preparer, whether it's TaxSlayer or TurboTax or H&R Block, that little, however they track your refund for you, they don't have any direct link to the IRS, so they don't know exactly when you're getting your refund. Those are just an estimate. The only way to know for sure is by checking those transcripts. Hey, Jesse and Jessica, mine's still saying processing. No date yet on my transcripts. It's been like this for a month. It's frustrating. E-money. Where's My Refund says refund is being reviewed, but when I check my transcript, there is no 570, just an 826. The old 826 transcript code. Shall we check the IRS? Oh boy. Oh boy. The 826. E-money, did you happen to look that code up? Or talk to anyone that's had it before? Your tax refund was diverted to an old debt. Student loans, child support, or any other debt that was reported to the IRS. They diverted some or all of your refund. And they should give you a letter. They should send you a letter about how much was diverted. I mean, hopefully it wasn't all of it. But if there's no 570 code and only the 826, that tells me they might have diverted all of it, unfortunately. Forever Blessed Henry. What if you have codes 766 and 570? 766 could be child tax credit or stimulus payments that you've received. If it's dated for 2022, that would be your child tax credit. 570 is a refund freeze. They are reviewing your return for some reason. And let's see. So now the Raider Nation got the direct deposit on March 2nd. Thank you, DS, for the delightful info during my wait. Grateful. Rock on. I appreciate you guys watching and sticking with me. Justin, I have a message saying your return is still being processed. There you go. There's the still processing message, Justin. Which brings us to Anna, who went from still processing to being processed. Oh, Anna went backwards? Interesting. Rachel Pierce says, my transcript shows the refund amount, but no other codes. Is that in the top left corner? If there's no other codes, you should have an account balance in the top left corner. It would be a negative number. That would be what the refund amount is before they finalize everything. Mike Miller wants to send a thanks for the help over the last 3 weeks. No problem. Deborah has the delay message. The old delay. There's a delay. And the old NA on the transcripts. Stuck in the void of unprocessed returns, unfortunately. Rachel wants to know if you get a transcript, does it typically mean you're going to get approved soon? Not necessarily, especially if you're in review. Just because you can view the transcript doesn't always mean that the deposit's coming right away. It really determines that is what the codes are on the transcript. A lot of these people can tell you they've had a 570 code for a few weeks, so. Chuck. Mine was accepted on the 9th with a topic 152 on where's my refund, but the transcript has not changed and no other codes. Yeah, so it's probably still processing. 2022 0805. That cycle's still fairly recent, so he's definitely still within the. I know you filed on 29th, but you're still within that 21-day period. Remember, guys, if you have dependents and you fell under the PATH Act, your 21-day period, not that they guarantee the 21-day period anyways, but they're going to tell you that it didn't start until PATH was lifted. So even if you filed before February 15th and were accepted before February 15th, your 21-day window does not open until February 15th. A DV checking in, another Chad All-Star. Hope all is well, Dana, with the fam. Yeah, my oldest son and my youngest son have been a little under the weather. COVID tests were negative, though, so that's always a good. A good what, honey?
Sign.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Yeah. I'm just sitting here drinking my tea. I do appreciate all the well wishes from everyone that commented on the post the other day. Thank you so much. Transcripts still say not available. Latrice checking in. Well, we're okay. Caitlin and I are okay. My middle son's fine, just fine, but my two younger sons are still not too great. They're in bed right now, so getting their rest. They should be in bed anyways, but yes. I mean, hopefully they can go back to school. I'm not too. Why am I forgetting my words today? I'm not too optimistic on it because especially for my oldest son, he was not looking good when he went to bed tonight. So he's still got a really bad cold, probably bronchitis if I had to guess too. We're gonna bring him to the doctor if he doesn't get better. He's been sick for a couple days. Me checking in, making sure that everyone hits that like. Yes, please smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't. Peaches still has the 570 with a 228 date. No 971, no letter in the mail. Peaches, I'm really hoping that you get that update tonight. And you wake up tomorrow and you see that 571. Got my fingers crossed for you. Ashley, where's my refund? Is still being processed. I verified my identity about a week and a half ago. And this morning it changed to we've received your return. It's being processed. So the identity verification, usually after you've completed it, if there's nothing else wrong with the return, you'll usually see an update within 2 to 3 weeks. So you could get the update this week. If not, probably next week. As long as nothing else was wrong with your return. But you may wake up tomorrow and see the update. A lot of times, too, it could be like the cutoff. Like if you verify your identity on a Wednesday, it's a little bit late for the system to catch up when it finalizes everything on Thursday, so that when the transcripts update on Friday, you're not going to see it. So, you know, anything, if you filed on like a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday, you're definitely not going to see an update that week. It definitely would be like the following week at the earliest, if not the week after. Mrs. Marie wants to know what itemized deductions are. Itemized deductions, so you have a choice when you file your taxes. You can either take the standard deduction for your family size, or you can itemize your deductions and expenses. And a lot of people that have special income or other income aside from just employer work, but maybe they have 1099 jobs, maybe they have gambling winnings, maybe they have investment income. All those people would tend to itemize deductions to try to maximize what they can get back on their refund, but that often gets flagged for review. And why Mrs. Marie is asking that question is because of the list here from the flags. Which Mrs. Marie realizes she's going to be the last on the updates before. I fall into the new dependent, recovery rebate, child tax credit, and a missed 1099. The super trifecta. Unfortunately. Let's hope this season isn't nearly as bad as last season was. I mean, it was taking them up to June and July to sort out some of those issues last year. So let's hope they solve that problem. Going back through the comments here. E-Money, I hope you saw you were still tuned in when I told you about the 826 code. That 826 means it's getting diverted. All or part of your refund is being diverted to a debt. Liana has a 570 with additional info pending and 971 code. Those dates that are on those 570 codes, 971 codes, those are post-dated deadline dates for them to complete the action. Doesn't guarantee that it's going to be completed by then, or that they'll ever send out the letter related to it if they can solve it before then. So you can't read too much into the dates themselves because they can change. They're fluid. If the action can't be completed by that date, the system will just give you a new date. That is why in many cases, like, let's see, where's my friend here? Like with Peaches here, that has the 228 date. It hasn't been changed yet. So that tells me that maybe perhaps that transcript was, that return was finished last week by that 228 date. However, that it was processed before last Thursday. I mean, after the cutoff Wednesday, Thursday, so the update wouldn't occur until this week. A lot of times it depends on the cutoff date too. Bella TV says, I got a DDD for 3/2/22, but still nothing. So, often, if you haven't gotten on that date, there could be a couple of different things happening. Either the bank is holding it for some reason, which is usually pretty uncommon. So, could be an incorrect number that was input on the account. Could be a deposit that's too big for the bank to accept. Maybe they have a deposit limit. Depending on the bank, that would be something you'd want to check with your bank on. And if they refused it for any reason, whether it was like a wrong account number or something on the info didn't, like a name or something was spelt wrong, that can cause a refusal. If they refuse the direct deposit for any reason, that money would get sent back to the IRS, and then they would have to send you a paper check, which can take a couple weeks. Grace says they added a child tax rebate and the stimulus. Still off about $2K, but that's okay. I suppose it's okay as long as you can get that money as soon as possible. I'm me. 290 code. That reset the previous year because you had a stimulus and or child tax payments. That's why there's 2766. One is for last year. One is for this year. The 846 stated for last year would be your child tax payments or your stimulus, whichever one is on the transcript. And I'm assuming the 768 and one of the 766s and the 570971 would be dated for this year because that's the stuff that's going on right now. But anyone that received a stimulus or child tax payments last year would see those numbers on their transcript. Most likely the first set of the first 846 would be your child tax payments. And it would be dated for 2021 because that's when you received those advanced child tax payments. All right, let me go to some. We got a lot of people in the comments tonight. You guys are really all stars tonight. Okay, let's go down. I'm gonna try to be more current here. Jamar. My transcript says as of February 28th, there's been no update. The tax advocate says they see nothing wrong with the taxes. Should I expect any updates in the new batch? Yeah, probably, honestly. At least within the next week or two. But you might be in this update. If there's no trouble codes on there, then you should see an update. It's been filed since January 27th. A lot of these, like January 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, have seemed to gotten lost in the void somehow. Like, I'm telling you, it's not 21 from when you filed, no matter what. Especially if you're under the PATH Act. That's just, I mean, if you filed under the PATH Act, even if you were filed, I mean, you could file when as soon as the tax season opened. When did it open this year? The 23rd. You're not going to get your refund within 21 days because that would you'd still be under the PATH Act after 21 days. So, like, it's. Trust me, they don't start the 21-day period It's irrelevant anyway because they don't even guarantee the 21-day period anymore. It's like a thing of the past. But they still do say most people get their refunds within 21 days. But that day, if you fall under the PATH Act, that 21-day period does not start until PATH is lifted. And even then, in some cases, if the return hasn't hit the system for processing yet, the 21-day period doesn't start until your return hits the system for processing. Meaning, if your return says, and if your transcripts say NA, your return hasn't even really been looked at yet. It's been sitting in the backlog of things that need to get put into the system for processing, so your 21-day period technically hasn't even started yet. It's 21 days from when the return hits the system or when PATH lifted. So I guess whichever one would be later. But as a general rule, it's 21 days from when PATH starts. Joshua says they completed the identity verification process, and the IRS said it could take up to 9 weeks. It's not going to take that long. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks. Unless there's something else wrong with your return, it's not going to take that long. So it's frustrating to have to go through it and wait a little bit longer, but they tend to over-exaggerate some of the wait times for things like that. Other things, they tend to not give you any timeline. Because that's when you really want to worry. If they don't give you a timeline, that's when you know it's going to be a really long time. If they give you a timeline, if they say like 10 weeks or 9 weeks, it's probably going to be less. If they don't give you a timeline at all, it's going to be a while. Southern Taste, I hope that you're going to at least get an update at this point if you've been NA for so long. You should at least see the transcripts available to you so you can at least look at the codes. And hopefully when you look at the codes, there's a date. But it doesn't always go from NA right to having a date immediately. Usually it would go from NA, it posts to the system, and then it would, if there's no trouble codes, then you'll probably be good for a refund the next week. But you will at least want to see it post to the system, like so you can look at the transcript. Uh, 150 code, that means your return is in the system for processing, so that's not a problem. 150 code doesn't really tell you much other than the returns in the system, and the amount next to the 150 code would be whatever the tax due for the year was. Your ID is complete, so if you completed the ID, you should see an update within a couple weeks. Adam wants to know if they're ever going to find you. You know, honestly, Adam, this seems to happen like every year. For the past 5 or so years, I'd say, there's been this, cluster of early filers in January that seem to get lost in the shuffle. It's happened like every year for the past 5 years. It never used to happen, like, 10 years ago? I don't know. I think 10 years ago, before they even had like this whole system of like when they used to actually give you dates, they used to say, if you file by this date and you're accepted by this, they used to have like an official cycle chart. They would tell you, if you file by this date and you're accepted by this date, you'll have your refund on that date. And you would get your refund when they told you you would. And you didn't have to check the where's my refund tool and whatever that. You just knew that if you filed and were accepted on a certain date, you were getting your refund on the date they told you. And they stopped doing that when they started updating some of their systems, and they made it a whole lot more complicated than it's ever been. And now so many more people get pulled for a review, or just get flat out lost in the shuffle somehow and get resequenced to the back of the line. Okay. E-Money says the 826 gold, they took $20. Wow, massive debt. Oh my goodness. And updated the refund last Friday to $20 less. Okay. So you'll hopefully get an update soon. Let's hope tomorrow you wake up and you see that refund issue code. Mrs. Marie, I know that well, you hit the super trifecta, so I think you were gonna have to wait either way, honestly, with all the stuff that you had to put on your return this year. So I think whether you filed early or you filed late, you probably would be in the same situation. Although if you filed later, you wouldn't be waiting quite as long because you'd be closer to that time when they'd be doing that stuff. So what the IRS tends to do is take the most complicated returns and just push them to the back of the line. And they always process the simplest returns first. Grace, I don't think you should... I think if they've already adjusted everything, you should definitely get an update within the next week or two. Beautiful Null says, I'm still waiting for an update. My return posted in the system on February 18th. I was under review. I was under the impression that I was going to be updated every day, but I'm still under review. Yep. Well, it doesn't update every day. The transcripts only update once a week, especially when you're under review. And it depends on why you're under review. That determines how long you could be under review. Some reviews take 2 to 3 weeks. Others take months. Others take a little over a month. It depends on what the situation is. So often all you can do is wait. Sometimes they send you letters. Sometimes they don't send you letters because they don't need anything from you. Sometimes they're just waiting for something else that isn't on your end, but maybe on an employer's end or whatever. So there's all different reasons that people can get placed on review, and the length of that review is all determined by what the problem is. Jesse and Jessica says, I better see an update tomorrow on my transcript. It's been a month now. And if I don't get an update, I am going to break my phone, which is not a good idea because you won't have the money to get a new one. You need that money first. Don't be breaking phones if you can't buy a new one yet. The IRS is still holding on to that money. Lewd Dude. I filed on February 6th and it says verify your filing date, check with your tax preparer, and verify your electronically filed acknowledgement email. Well, I would double check all that stuff and make sure that they actually received it. Because if you never got accepted into the system, then and you just don't do anything, you're not going to get any answers. So definitely double check with all that stuff. Make sure that they've actually filed it. It's always a good idea to download the forms that the software sends to, because there'll often be a timestamp on the transmission. Michael wants to know if a 10-week review really takes 10 weeks. It depends on what the 10-week review is for. I've seen 10-week reviews take 2 weeks. I've seen 10-week reviews take 3 months. So it depends on what the review is about. Bo and Brittany, what if Jackson Hewitt put my unemployment in wrong? Will they change that, or would I have to file an amendment? So what will happen is, if you get placed on a freeze, they will either well, first thing they'll do is they'll try to confirm the amount with unemployment. In the best case scenario is they'll see the number was in wrong and they'll make the adjustment themselves. The worst case scenario is they're going to send you a letter saying they want you to send them in proof of what you reported. So there are times when they adjust themselves. It depends on how big the number is, honestly. If it's a massive mistake, they're probably going to ask you to send in documentation of what you reported, which can slow the process way down. And then if they just process it as is and the number was never adjusted, like they didn't catch it and they processed it without waiting for unemployment, wait till you receive the money, the refund, and then make the adjustment. So what you want to do is, if you have access to your transcripts, watch your transcripts and see if any adjustments were made. If those adjustments are never made and they just send you the refund as requested, in other words, the refund that is on your return currently without that unemployment, with the unemployment being wrong, if they somehow process your return with that as is, wait until they finish processing it and send you the money, then file the amendment. Don't ever file an amendment unless they request you to, because that's going to slow it way down even further. So really, it's a waiting game. It's waiting to see if they process it as is, or if they change it through what they have from unemployment, or if they ask you. If they see what unemployment reported and they see what you reported and it's too big of a difference, they're going to flag it and send you a letter asking for more verification to prove what you claimed. Obviously, it's Jackson Hewitt's fault, not your fault. No ID wants to know if I think the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. I did say this was agenda-free. I mean, they're probably going to make the playoffs. Of course, I'm a Celtics fan, so... Brandon filed the 4th. Have the 570 codes and 971 codes, but no DDD yet. But sees the updated amount on the summary. So hopefully you get the update tomorrow. Mrs. Marie wants to know if credit card companies can cause you to get an 826. Not typically. They would have to really want to go after that money. Typically, they would go after you in court before they would go after you with the IRS. The things you'd see on the 826 for transcripts would be if someone owed like student loans, if a parent owed child support, if anyone owed like a government. Sometimes people get money from like welfare or Social Security that they weren't supposed to get, and the government tries to recoup that money. They can go after you through your taxes, and that would be an 826 code. It's all sorts of things, but usually like private companies, credit card companies, I mean, it's possible, but they would usually go through court first before they went for your refund. So it's rare. Emmanuel wants to know if you have the 570 code and they adjusted your amount, would you receive the 846 soon? You should. You should. Joshua feels like the IRS is just a bad dream. Probably worse than a bad dream. Kind of a nightmare, really. I mean, you have bad dreams and then you have nightmares, and I think it's kind of a nightmare. I think the people that work there would tell you it's a nightmare. In fact, the lady I spoke to in the amended department told me it was kind of a nightmare yesterday. So... Brianna Anthony says, oh my God, please help. I'm coming from Facebook. Welcome. I filed on the 26th, was accepted the same day, and I used a W-2 from 2020. Not knowing I couldn't. I thought we had up to 3 years to file. I didn't know I had to separate. Yes. You do have up to 3 years to file, but you have to do an amended return from that tax year, not from the year you're filing for currently. So you can't file them all together. So that's going to be a mess they're going to sort out. At some point, they are probably going to request more information from you, a verification, because you're using a W-2, an old W-2, and it's not going to match what that employer sent to them. So they're probably going to send you a letter asking for more verification, or just flat out tell you you're under examination, which is basically an audit. Not much else I can tell you about it other than it's a waiting game, really. It's like, yeah, it's kind of a waiting game. You're waiting for them to tell you what to do, basically. If you call the IRS, you might be able to call the advocate service, the tax advocate service, and it would have to be, let's see, the 26th. Let's see. It would have to be after, I'm assuming you fall under Path Act, so it would have to be after March 15th to get help from a tax advocate, because they're really backed up right now. But they could probably help you get through the bureaucracy of it all. Let's share that tax advocate stuff for you. So you just want to make sure that you go to Taxpayer Advocate Service, taxpayeradvocate.irs.gov. There's all sorts of information about how they can help you, common questions, but there's a phone number there you can call to contact them. It can be difficult to get, So what I was told yesterday is they have a backlog of 1.6 million returns from last year on top of everything they're trying to process this year. So, I mean, the IRS, the taxpayer service, they're all like, the advocate service, they're all just straight out overwhelmed right now. So, I wish I could help you more, but hopefully you can contact them and they can help you. Deshauna wants to know, can we use look back this year? You can. Probably will get reviewed. If I add my little look back to the stream here, it allows you to use the 2019 income for the earned income credit if it's going to be bigger than your earned income for 2021. However, be aware you still have to fall under the thresholds of earned income credit this year to qualify for it. So if you made too much in 2021 to get earned income credit, you cannot use look back credit. It will get disallowed. So make sure you fall into the thresholds there for your family size. Yvette, how is it that some people filed with child tax credit received their refund in the first batch? That is because they did not have earned income credit or additional child tax credit. Regular child tax credit does not fall under Path Act. It has to be earned income credit or additional child tax credit. So there are many people that got child tax credit that were in the early batches of approval before February 15th because they didn't have earned income credit. So Path Act only what qualifies for Path Act is earned income credit and additional child tax credit. Liana wants to know how we can deduce if they have adjusted the refund. There used to be a code or adjustment you'll see it reflected on the transcript. So if you see no changes on that, there was no adjustment made. So what you're basically looking for now is the 571 release code. That's how you know it's complete. And usually once the 571 release code hits, the 846 can hit the same day or it can hit the week after. And that is all about the cutoff. So say you were under a review, I mean, it sounds like you're expecting them to adjust your refund for something, but say it was under a review for whatever adjustment they were making. If they adjusted it before Wednesday, the 571 and the 846 code would hit the same day. If they adjusted it on Wednesday or Thursday, you might see the 571 code on Friday, but you wouldn't get the deposit date until the following update the next week. It all depends on that cutoff of when the processing occurred, the final processing occurred. Mrs. Russo, if my as of date is 2/21 and no other updates, does that mean the date is not even important? I tell people all the time, can't read too much into those dates. They are like internal deadline dates that the system automatically sets for itself. And they can change it as it feels necessary. And they often don't meet those deadlines. So, yeah, you can't read too much into them. It's like an internal date. Daniela, my cycle date is 0805 is my update tonight. Well, it's going to be on a Friday, so it could be overnight tonight into tomorrow. We got our fingers crossed for you. Corey, identity verification was approved February 24th. Can I get an update this week? You could get an update this week. I forgot my crystal ball, but... Caitlin, I told you to get me the crystal ball. It's not even my crystal ball, it's Caitlin's.
That's a Halloween prop.
Yeah, you might get an update this week, Corey. It's usually within a week or two after you've had the identity verification approved. You usually see an update within a week or two. Let's see, it was approved the 24th. Let's go back here on the calendar, which was last Thursday. So, yeah, it would likely be this week. I'm not making promises though, because I don't have my crystal ball. It's somewhere in the basement, because my wife refuses to help me with it.
What?
Amanda Lee has an as of date of 3/2 been delayed for 3 weeks, and now it's saying information is wrong when tracking the refund. On where's my refund, I'm assuming? Well, that's... Information is wrong. Interesting. I mean, that's usually the message people get when they've been checking too much. Or they're just putting in the wrong information. I mean, I wouldn't even be... Can I just tell you guys it's not even worth checking where's my refund if you don't have the 846 code on the transcript? If your transcript is still showing, like, either... well, if it's not showing you the 846 for a 2022 date, there is no point in checking where's my refund because it's not going to update. The transcript is always going to update first. It's the most reliable source of information on what's going on with the return, as far as like what the IRS has done, because it's real time. It is the most current information that they have on file for your account. And yeah, you're just never going to get a refund if there's no 846 code with a refund date for the current year on the transcript. And you're going to have people tell you that the transcripts aren't always accurate, and that is 100% false. The transcripts are always accurate. So that's your most reliable source of information. you can get a refund date on your transcript, and Where's My Refund could still have old information from like weeks ago. There's been plenty of cases where Where's My Refund never even updated. So your most reliable information is going to be on your transcript anyway, so I wouldn't even worry about what the IRS Where's My Refund website is saying if you have access to your transcript. Oh, Amanda, I think I read as of as like you were looking at the transcript and the as of date was 3/2. So I'm still going to stick by my message though. Check your transcript. Get access to it. Let's share that transcript page again. If you go to the IRS website, and well, you just Google check transcript, and you'll get to the transcript page, which looks like this. Get your tax record, and you scroll down to get transcript online, and it opens you up to this page where you can create an account with the IRS. You can do an ID.me account, or if you've already previously set up an IRS username, which I did like years ago, that's what I use. If you don't have an account yet and you set up the account, just take your time going through it. Make sure you input all the information correctly so you don't get locked out of the system. Yep, you gotta wait, Brianna. You gotta wait on the amendment. If they want you to send in anything, they'll let you know. So don't amend unless they tell you to, or don't send anything into them unless they tell you to, because that could slow it down even more. If you send unrequested information to them, it can backlog your return even further. And I hope you're still here to hear that message, because I know I'm about 8 to 10 minutes behind everybody right now. Laurie's back. She's another chat all-star. She's making a bid for the DS Entertainment Chat Hall of Fame. Yes. Does the IRS also take child tax credits paid owed back child support? It does. It does. Is there a big difference between the approval of state refunds versus federal refunds? I just got approved for my state, but federal is held up with a 570 due to ID verification 3 weeks ago. So there you go. You have your answer, actually, because the state is separate from the federal. I will tell you guys, this year, I've mentioned this in my previous streams, this year I got my federal, well, we got our federal refund in the first batch of PATH refunds, so it came last week. But the same day that the refund came, I got a notice in my, so I got an email from my state account, because I have a state account where I do all my tax filing and check my status and everything. And I got an email from my state account saying that my return was being audited, and they wanted information from me. So I keep exceptional records. I sent them 70 pages of information with every proof of every credit I claimed, every bit of income we had, every mile I drove in my car that I claimed for mileage, every single expense I wrote off. I sent them documentation of it. It was probably overkill what I sent them. So that was Wednesday. And then by Monday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so what's not even Wednesday? So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days. 5 days later, I had the state deposit in my account. So they resolved that audit very quickly, which means by Friday, they had, after the 2 days after they had got my information, they approved it. But federal, I got no problem. I was never under review. In state, I was under review. So it's two different systems. So yes, it's different. There is a difference. Concerned Citizen says, I don't have a 2022 account transcript. You wouldn't. You wouldn't have a 2022 account transcript until next year, because in 2022, you filed a 2021 tax return. But on that 2021 tax return, you're waiting to see a cycle code that has a 2022. So when you go into your account, when you go into your Transcript account, you want to see all 4 boxes with 2021s available. You want to click that 2021, and you'll know that your return is actually posted to the system when your cycle code starts with a 2022. If it has a 2021, that means it's probably from the advanced child tax payment from last year or a stimulus payment from last year. Nothing to do with anything they've done to your account this year so far. But all the information that you filed this year would be on a 2021 account transcript. Laurie, is it possible to update with an offset code and an 846 at the same time? Yes, it is possible. It is possible. Not a guarantee, but it can happen and has happened. And no ID. How do you know what batch you're in? So far, I'm in the NA batch. That's what batch you're in. You just answered your own question. No. I mean, if you're in the NA batch, you know you're going to be in weekly batches. So you know that you're only probably ever going to update on a Friday morning. You'll only ever see an update on a Friday morning. As far as like when it's going to finally update, there's really no way of knowing until it posts to the system. Unfortunately, there's no way for, like, if you called the IRS, they wouldn't even be able to tell you. They would just say, oh, give it 10 weeks. We're really busy. We're backlogged. Oh, man. I think it's time to change up the music, guys. All right. Let's see. Where did I leave off here? Andre, I got the 570 on 218 for 37 with a 971 on 225 for 314. So the 971 is in regards to the 570. Did you receive a letter yet? I'd be curious to know what the 570 is for. I don't know if you'll get an update without knowing what the hold is for, honestly. So whether or not you get an update and see one tomorrow morning would depend on what your hold was for. So I can't really tell you specifically. I know there is going to be a lot of people. There will be a lot of people this week that see that 571 release code. We had a big influx of people see the release last week after being on hold for a couple weeks. So there should be another big influx of people that get 571 release codes this week with an update. So I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, Andre. Amanda Lee asks, what is a cycle date? It's simply the date of the year that your return is in the processing system. So, can I pull up an example here? Well, if I said like 2022, is the year, the current year you're in, 2022. It's not the tax year you're in, it's the current year. And then say there was an 05, 05. So the first two sets of numbers after the 2022 would be the 05, that's the 5th week of the year, of the cycle. And the second 05 is the day of the week processing would finish. So 05 is Thursday. So if anyone that has an 05 on their transcript, that means their processing is only ever going to complete on Thursday, meaning the system is only going to update their status on Thursdays. So whatever was done earlier in the week, even like let's say someone verified their identity on Monday, the system isn't going to reflect, the system won't reflect that verification until Thursday, which means when they wake up on Friday, they'd see that reflected on their transcript. So weekly people only ever get updates in the system on Fridays, well, see them on Fridays. They happen on Thursday, and then they get reflected on the transcript on Friday when it transfers the information over. That's my best definition of it. People that have cycle codes that end in 01 through 04 are the other days of the week, and they can update Monday through Thursday, or Friday in some cases, but it's very rare because like 85% of all tax filers are 05s. And the other 15%, that's still a lot of people. I mean, that's still like 20 million people that are daily people that have 01s through 04s. But it's like 20 million people versus like 140 million people that have 05s. Laurie checking in with Caitlin.
Hello.
Caitlin says hello.
See my crystal ball.
Liana wants the winning Powerball numbers so they can keep the return. Do I have the Powerball numbers? I don't think I do. No, I don't. I'm sorry. Sometimes things just come to me, but that didn't. The crystal ball is only for tax stuff. Stoner Rich, another Chad All-Star in the house. KL wants to know how long from the time you file to the time you get accepted does the NA go away from your transcript. It varies. It depends on where in line they have you and whether you got resequenced. There's no set time, unfortunately. Kelly, thank you for all the information. It's been so helpful and so much better than calling the IRS. You're welcome. And I won't give you guys PTSD by singing the IRS phone song again, which I had stuck in my head all day today. Anyone that's been on the hold with the IRS for 2+ hours certainly has PTSD from that song. Is it possible to give an 846 on the transcript when Where's My Refund is showing a 203? Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, at some point, as long as you're getting the refund. If the entire refund was diverted, then no, you wouldn't get the 846 because you're not getting the refund. But if it wasn't the entire refund and only part of it, yes, you could still get the 846. In fact, you eventually would get the 846. Mrs. Marie also thanking for the sharing of the knowledge. I do my best to help you guys out. Answer the questions that the IRS can't or won't answer. In many cases, they just can't answer some of them because I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's enough information out there that if the average person was willing to look hard enough, you can probably end up knowing more about the system than the IRS employees do themselves. The only reason I know as much as I do is all the investigation for journalism I did into it, and the people I spoke to, and the years I've been covering it. So that's the only reason I know so much. But I just happen to be the guy to do it. But yeah. About 10 years or so. I'm sorry, guys. That was me not being humble. I know sometimes people like to tell me that I'm so humble. And Nana, I've heard people getting a deposit without their transcript being updated. Is that true? False. As Dwight Schrute would say, false. No, it's just not true. They probably couldn't check their transcript. They probably didn't have access to their transcript to see that it updated. But you would never get a deposit without the transcript updating. Because the transcript would reflect the date that the deposit was scheduled. I'm trying to think of how I can give you an example. If I checked my transcript on a Wednesday and I didn't see an 846 refund issue code, and then I didn't check my transcript for a week, and then the next Wednesday I woke up and I had a deposit on my account, that doesn't mean that I got a deposit without my transcript updating. That means I got a deposit and I didn't check my transcript on the Friday to see that I would have updated with the deposit date for the Wednesday. So, just because the person didn't check their transcript to see it update doesn't mean it didn't update. Because the transcript is always going to have the 846 refund issue code reflected for the date that it will be deposited. I'm me. If we get a DDD update tomorrow, would it be for next week? Or does it vary? It does not vary. If you get the update tomorrow, it will be for Wednesday, February 9th. The direct deposits tomorrow will be scheduled for Wednesday, February 9th. The only time it would be vary would be if there would be a holiday on a Monday. But there is no holiday, last I checked. You know, March 7th is not a holiday, so... Well, we can make it a holiday if we want. We can make March 9th a holiday for the people that are getting their refunds that day. March 9th, spend your refund day. Alicia? I'm going to say Alicia. Is it possible to get an 846 code with having only a 570 code? No, you would get the 846. You would get a 571 and then an 846. So you would see the 571 appear, but they could happen in the same day, depending on when that review, return review, refund release was complete. You could get the 846 and the 571 code the same day. But there would be a 571 code after the 570, and then the 846 would appear. Laurie in the chat reminding everyone to make sure they hit the like button and subscribe. Hey, hon, how many likes are we up to?
64 likes and 89 watching.
64 likes with 89 people watching? That's a 25 person differential. I think we need more likes, people. I really need... I mean, it's 10:58. We've been on since 9:30. I've been on since 9:40 because I came on 10 minutes after the stream started because I was having audio problems.
7.
Did we go down?
No, we went
Oh, okay. We went up 2, 3.
Oh, now we're at
How's my addition? I
61.
can't add today. I can't remember my words today.
We're up at
My tea
71.
got cold. I now have cold. I have iced tea. I have inadvertent iced tea.
We just went up 2.
You mean someone disliked the thing?
We're up at 74 now.
All right, Joseph. Is it possible, since my refund hasn't been processed yet, that when it finally does, the codes will come up, I will have to wait longer? After I just waited 40 days already? It is possible. Unfortunately, it's possible. I mean, probably what's going to happen is you'll have to wait at least a week anyway. So the best case scenario that will happen is like when the transcript becomes available, like the best possible case scenario is that you'll see the codes and there'll be no trouble codes, which means the following week you should have a date. Travis, what does it mean after I verified my information? It said congratulations, but now it says when I'm able to provide assistance to you via the identity verification tool. That's because you already completed the verification. So there's nothing more they can do through that tool for you. But if you completed it, depending on when you did complete it, you should get an update within 2 weeks, within a week or two. Mrs. Marie doesn't remember a song. You don't remember the song that they play when you're on hold? Guys, in the chat, please tell me you all know the song. You're going to make me really sing it again? I've already had to do something really embarrassing today at work. I teach driver's ed. And the car I was driving broke down on the road, and the school had me go to the garage, and I had to tell the guy what was wrong with the car, and then I had to make the sound. I mean, nobody wants to make the sound to the mechanic, especially when I work on cars myself, and I could easily just fix it myself. That was embarrassing. I don't want to be singing songs. I didn't want to make car sound. I don't want to make car sounds. I don't want to sing songs. Joseph wants me to sing it. Mrs. Marie, thank you so much. Trying to push people into those likes and subscriptions if you haven't. Yvette says, this is my second time listening to your knowledge, and you have not been wrong. Thank you for keeping me from looking at my Where's My Refund every day. No problem. It's tough to resist, I know. It took me about even after I learned from the people I talked to and the programmers of the system I talked to, even after I learned that I was only ever going to update on certain days, and it was pointless to check Where's My Refund until my transcript updated first. I still found myself checking every day for a couple of years. Then I eventually just stopped. I don't even really look at Where's My Refund anymore. If I'm checking Where's My Refund, it's to take a screenshot to use for a video. I pretty much only rely on my my transcripts now, because I know that's the Bible. The transcripts are the tax Bible, basically, of your return. Armenia says, me and Caitlin are so awesome. Thank you so much for the info. She's over here waiting.
I don't know why I'm waving.
She's over here waving when you guys can't see her. I'm trying to get her to put her to let me add her to the stream so she can have the camera on her too. I mean, she's not gonna answer any questions, but she can say hi to you guys. But she just monitors the chat and helps me with the chat. Alicia says I said her name correct. Joshua, where are we here? Joshua says I have a fun job. He works in an oil field, not so fun. Well, I can tell you, I have a lot of jobs. Actually, I do multiple things. Driver's ed, teaching driver's ed is just one of them, and it's probably the least favorite thing I do of all of them. It's very, I've been teaching driver's ed on and off for the past, like, 7 years, and, you know, I do it part-time. I was full-time for a while. I got in a really bad car accident, and the car accident kind of traumatized me, and it makes it really hard to let other people have control of the car when you have anxiety over driving. So it's a tough job for me actually now. Grace Hunter wants to know, says a Facebook friend wants to know if your transcripts can update from NA straight to an 846 code. It is possible. It's possible. So that's all I can tell you, because more than likely it's going to update when it does finally update. It's either going to have no 846 code, there'll be a bunch of codes without the 846, or there'll be a bunch of codes and there'll be a trouble code there, like a 570. So it's unlikely to update with an 846 code right away. Usually it's going to be at least a week after it becomes available to you. Trying to explain the process is like, when your return, I did a video about this last year too, but when you hit transmit on your return to the software, or you pay like a tax preparer to do it for you, and they hit transmit to the IRS, it gets like an initial run through by the algorithm, and then it gets like dumped into different piles of like what can be processed when, especially if it falls into Path Act. And then often what happens is like returns will get like resequenced. So maybe a flag is for something someone claimed, and if it gets flagged immediately and doesn't get put into the system for processing right away, but gets flagged immediately, it gets kicked over into this pile of things that haven't posted to the system yet for processing, but also have a flag on them. So if it's gotten an A for an extended period of time, it's been kicked over into that pile over there, virtual pile. It's a system, and at that point, needs to be looked at, and then someone has to like manually put it back in for processing and post it for processing. So it can be a while sometimes after it finally posts for that 846 to show. It could be a couple weeks. Laurie, good night. Have a great night. I'm gonna go back through some of these comments. Mrs. Marie, husband's a mechanic. Hates it when people make car sounds. Yeah, I worked on cars. I worked in a motorcycle shop too. But I like motorcycle sounds. I felt like Brian Regan today. If you guys know who Brian Regan, the comedian, is, he has a joke where he talks about that he knows nothing about cars. And he goes into the shop, and the guy in the shop is like, "What's the problem with your car, man?" And he goes, "Oh, you know, I was just hoping you could take a look and tell me, because something's going on." And he goes, "Yeah, man, come on." What's going on with it? Just let me know. And he goes, well, it's making kind of a funny sound. Well, what kind of sound is it making? Well, it goes... Can you fix that? I don't know. I just clean up here. Tommy McGraw says, I owed a few hundred for 2019. My 19th transcript updated today, and it was credited out of my 2022. So I guess I will get the update on my 2022 transcript tonight. I hope you do. I hope you do. Grace fought the song as well. Tell me you remember the song now that I've mentioned it. Not gonna sing it. I am not gonna sing it. I just made car sounds again. Lexus says, read my comment. All right. I have a 570 and a 971, but I got a letter yesterday saying why they took my stimulus away. I'm an 05. Will I get an update tonight? Lexus, do me a favor. Let me know what the date is on that letter. I might have a better idea what the date is on the letter. If we can determine when it was adjusted and when it was disallowed, we might be able to figure out if you will get an update tonight. Mrs. Marie says, I am officially her favorite YouTuber. Grace really wants me to sing the song. I was actually looking for it. I was almost positive someone was going to have it on YouTube, like on the thing. I was going to share the thing. No one, I can't believe no one's ever recorded that song. I might have to call. Am I going to have to call the IRS just to record that song for the next stream? Okay. Lexus, you threw it away. You kind of threw it away, or you did throw it away? We threw it away. Okay. I received a letter about 2 weeks ago, and the transcripts were NA until last week when they updated with the adjusted amount last Friday. So I would guess, as I said, Caitlin, my beautiful wife, who I love so much, did not give me the crystal ball today. So I can't guarantee any of these predictions on whether or not you're actually going to get the update. But my guess is that you see it this week or next week. But hopefully tomorrow you will see it. Carice wants to know, what if the transcript doesn't update? That's a frustrating thought. You're supposed to think positive. Think positive. If it doesn't update, you have to wait at least another week. Grace says, don't ever throw anything away from the IRS. Let me tell you, I'm like the king of not throwing anything away. And Caitlin will tell you, I never throw anything away as far as like that type of paperwork. And save it, file it. You always have it for reference. And it helps. It really helps to save all that stuff. Oh. Lexus. Just figured out. I don't know anything. I guess I should just stop doing lives, guys. Guys and girls. Don't worry, Joseph. Stuff like that just rolls off my shoulders. I don't really think too much about it. I'll tell you, I had a last year. There was a few people that really got to me last year at some point. But then there was a couple people that I was like helping along. Like they had like exact situations that I had been through personally myself that I kind of coached them through and helped them through. And just when I was at my wit's end last year with some of the people that were giving me a hard time, I got these two really, really nice messages from people that I helped, that I had invested some of my time into helping them. And they sent me these really like tear-jerking messages about how much I helped them. And it completely changed how I looked at everything and how I looked at the people with the negativity. I don't even think about it. So... unless they're completely belligerent, which, hey, just happened. So goodbye. That's where we draw the line. When someone starts attacking my viewers and subscribers on the chat, you will be banned. So I'm really trying to figure out why he thought I didn't know anything. Because I told the joke about not having the crystal ball? I think I actually gave a pretty good answer. Yeah, Caitlin says I did. I don't know.
You're always very thorough.
I mean, I answer the questions like that to the best of my ability. The problem is like, you're giving me, like, a lot of you, like, and I don't want the complete information for you guys because I don't want people's personal information. Guys, I'm doing this to help everybody. So if someone's got a problem with how I'm answering it, I'm sorry. I just, especially if you give me incomplete information. Like I said, I don't want the whole picture because I don't want to know everyone's personal stuff. But I do the best I can with the information given. Thanks, Joseph. A lot of times it's because I don't tell them what they want to hear. That's the problem. They want to hear they're getting their money tomorrow. Hey, not only would you get a transcript update in the morning, but you're going to wake up and there's going to be a deposit for $140,000 in your account. Maybe I should have told him that, and he would say I was the best YouTuber ever. But like I said, it really doesn't bother me anymore. Okay, so let's go back to some of the comments. We're over him. See you later, or her, or whoever it was. See you later. Obviously a newbie. Not a chat all-star. Not a chat all-star. Alright. Ends Ranch. I filed and it was accepted on the 1st. I still haven't received it. Got the child tax credit. When should I expect it? So my first question is always going to be, do you have access to your transcripts? Because if you're on a refund hold, like a freeze and for a review, there's no way to really know when to expect it unless you know if you're on a freeze or not. And then once you have a freeze, at least you know there's something that's delaying it. And you can go from there. But like I said, this is one of those incomplete information things. Like, I could get a little bit better of an idea if you have transcript and codes to throw out there. Maybe we can sort that out. Slit speed. If I get a letter stating that I need to verify my identity due to decreased refund issue, should I sort it out right away? Yes. As soon as you go through the identity verification, depending on when you do it in the week, you would see the update later that week or the following week, depending on when it was complete. You gotta beat the cutoff date. If you do it on a Wednesday or a Thursday, it's gonna be at least another week. Katie, I have a 570 and a 971. The 570 is a refund freeze, usually due to a review, and a 971 is explaining what the hold is for. That's a notice that they will issue. Typically that means the date there, the later date, is the date they would send the letter if they can't resolve the freeze before that date. Joshua asked about 5 minutes ago what the best food to eat in Boston is. Man, there's so many good places. North End. We just had a Gordon Ramsay open up in Boston too. I haven't been there, but I'm sure it's delish. Oh, there's so many like really, really good restaurants in the North End in Boston. Observe self. You know my year sucks, but you've at least made me feel better and helped us a lot. Glad I can help you guys in any way I can. Even if it's a place to come in the chat and vent. You know. I'm sure Alexis was just venting, but just taking it on the wrong people. And if Alexis wanted to take it out on me, whatever, have at it. That's why I was like, whatever. That's why I was joking around about it, but they got the block as soon as they started attacking my viewers. I'm protective over you guys. We have a special little community here that we're building. Thank you, Marie. And thank you, Slit Speed. Thank you, Denisha. No problem, Andre. Principal Potts wants to know, does NA on the transcript mean they haven't touched it yet or put it in a pile of flags? It definitely means it hasn't really been touched yet. That's the absolute. Doesn't necessarily mean it was placed in the pile of flags. And that's all like timing too. Like, I mean, like I said, remember it's more than likely if it's been NA for weeks, then you're going to be in 05 cycle code, which means you're only ever going to update on a Friday. So just because right now we're saying it hasn't been touched yet doesn't mean it wasn't touched like on Monday or Tuesday. We just wouldn't know until tomorrow if it updated tomorrow. So that's the one thing you can't tell about when you're a weekly. It's one of the frustrating things is you don't know, short of like being able to talk to the person that's actually like looking at that review at the time, looking at that return at the time. There's no way to know what day they actually like the system took it and put it into the system, because it's just always going to post on that Friday. Observe self. They told me I was in the backlog of errors, thus my NA, but not sure if they're just saying anything to get me off the phone. Yeah, most of, like, I'm going to say like 80% of what the IRS tells you on the phone is simply just to, like, be generic and get you off the phone as quickly as possible, because they have a script they have to stick to. But generally speaking, for the past couple of years, the NAs have literally meant you're just stuck in the backlog of errors. So... But I can tell you, I talked about this the other day with the look back and the recovery rebate. If you guys claim these, right, and you've been waiting for like a month, and you're like why would they review me? Why would, like, you know, it's almost certainly, if you claim recovery rebate and look back, that's probably where the error is that they're looking at. I mean, I had to contact the press office last year to get an answer, to get a straight answer on it. And they told me last year it was like the middle of March before they finally, because I was getting people asking questions about why am I still in, like, not seeing any updates. And I was already, like, kind of assuming that there was something on their return. There had to be some reason that, like, so many people with the same credits they were claiming were getting held back. And finally got confirmation from the press office that, yeah, they weren't even going to look at people with recovery rebate and look back credits until, like, the end of the year, the end of the tax season. So, like, chances are there's a lot of you that, like, there's something on your return that's similar, like everyone's claiming something similar that's being looked at and held back until towards the end, because, like I said, they do all, like, the more complicated stuff at the end. Observe self. Did he know that we all help each other and would have tried to help him if helped him too? Yeah, that's what basically what I try to, like, breed in the topics here is, like, every time someone posts, like, their situation, that's someone else can see that and see that, oh, I'm not the only one that had this situation. Or say someone had a 570 code at the beginning of February and they got a letter saying they had to verify their identity, and then, like, 2 weeks later they got a 571 release and an 846. That would tell, like, by them sharing that story and that information with everybody, that tells people in the same situation, oh, that's approximately how long I'd have to wait if there's nothing else wrong. Like, everyone sharing their story is only going to help other people. I definitely encourage that. Okay, Jim Coleman. 2 quick questions. We only allow 1. I'm just kidding. Line 30 of the tax return. If I received stimulus, it should be 0 or 2,800. I am wondering if that's the problem. Second question is 150 and 570 is 3722 and 314. What gives? Okay, the 150. The 150 code is, like, your return has hit the system for processing. It's always going to be a post-dated date. It's never going to be the date it actually hit the system. Don't worry about that. Same thing with 570 code. It's always going to be a post-dated deadline that it's like an internal date that the system set for itself. Also, don't worry about that. If the 570 code, the reason for the 570 is not resolved before that 314 date, then they would change the date and push it back another couple weeks. As far as line 30, let me just make sure I double check here. Line 30 of the 1040. I think what I'll do, go back into my documents here. I just want to double check line 30 and give you a straight answer. All right, so line 30 is the recovery rebate credit. So, if you received the stimulus, you wouldn't be filing recovery rebate credit, so it should be 0. All right, if you received 0, if you received the recovery rebate credit, line 30 needs to be 0. If you didn't receive all or part of your stimulus, then the recovery rebate, line 30, would be whatever the portion of that you didn't receive. So hopefully that answers your question, Jim. Gabby wants to know why the as of date changes. It changes when they can't process by their internal deadlines, so that as of date can change. Once the return has been processed, it wouldn't change again. But they change it as they need to if they can't complete by the deadline. Brittany Phillips. I had twins last year and only received credit for one. I got 0 child tax credit for either. They reduced my refund. All right, Brittany. Once it's all complete, definitely file an amendment so you can get that credit. They owe it to you. You earned it. You know, you deserve it. You have a right to it. Get the refund they do send you, and as soon as you get that money, file an amended return. If you e-file it, that's fine, because you can e-file amended returns now. If you decide to mail it, you can mail in all your documentation for your new dependents, social security cards, birth certificates, to prove you have a right to claim them, and it will help speed up the process too. But as soon as you get that money, file that amended return. You have a right to that money, you should claim it. Lady Soul, listen to reasons you can be delaying your return. We played some slides here earlier tonight, covering all the reasons that people can get placed in review. And I didn't have one person ask me what tax topic 152 was after I initially posted that slide. I thought I was going to have to put that slide up a bunch of times tonight. Remini, I'm doing a live chat tomorrow because we know there's definitely going to be some people tonight that update with their 846 codes. So hopefully we see a lot of people come back to this stream tomorrow in the video and comment that they got their 846 when they woke up. So I'll be back tomorrow night with another live stream as we wait for Where's My Refund to update, because it will be updating for a lot of people. Queen Bee, please help. I filed and accepted the 29th. All credits. Transcript says no return filed. Went from as of date from 228 to 314 back to 228. I verified my identity on 210. What could be the issue? Wow. You verified on 210. So there's something else that's holding up the return. Queen B. I'd be curious to know what you claimed on yours. Did you happen to claim recovery rebate or look-back credits? Did you happen to have a new dependent that you claimed for the year? Those are all things that be causing delays right now. Okay. Yep. So there you go, Queen B. So those could be possible reasons for the delay. You know, there's a backlog of those things right now that they're looking at. So that's the problem. That's the problem they're running into. And just to review those reasons for delay: itemized deductions, new dependent being claimed, recovery rebate if you try to claim missed stimulus. And because when you're reporting that, it's not matching what the IRS paid to you. Child tax credit doesn't match what they paid to you last year. The look-back credit claimed. The W-2 wages, 1099 forms weren't properly reported or incomplete. Doesn't match what the employer reported. Identity verification, which you already did, Queen B, so that you're all set with on that. Or if there's any offsets or debts owed to other agencies. Arminia, going to bed. Good night. You're welcome for the info. And hopefully we see you tomorrow night. There goes an all-star, another chat all-star. Making her bid for the DS Entertainment Chat Hall of Fame. KP. My kid's father got the stimmies for the CTC for the kids. Stimmies and the CTC. They've been in my custody. I claim CTC and recovery rebate on my return. Will they give it to me even though he got it? Filed 131, still NA. Well, that's why it's taking so long. Because you're claiming something that someone already got. So that is going to be a nightmare, unfortunately. I wish I had better news to... I mean, I wish I could tell you that it was just going to all be okay, but you can get it. Like, you have the right to it. What it's going to be is you're going to have to prove that they live with... Like, you're going to have to somehow prove... When I say that you're going to have to do this stuff, like, you have to wait for them to contact you about it, honestly, because... if you try to send anything before they've even looked at it, then they're gonna see that you sent in stuff, and then it's gonna push your return even further into the backlog. The more you send in without being requested, the more complicated the return becomes now, and they're gonna push it further and further to the back of the line. So what you have to do is wait to see if they send you any notification that they are gonna request more verification from you. My guess is what would happen is ultimately they're going to look at that return. They're never even going to send you the letter saying they need more information. Probably what they're going to do is see that your ex got all that stuff, and they're going to disallow yours on your return. You'll get a refund, hopefully a refund, for everything minus the recovery rebate and the child tax credit. Then what you'll have to do is file an amendment with all the proof that you had the right to claim them, not your ex. So like I'm saying, it's going to be... I mean, it could be not too long before you get something, but you're probably not going to get all of what is owed to you right away until they get proof that you are the one that should have gotten all that stuff. And unfortunately, you can't do that before they request it, otherwise it complicates it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And sorry it took me a while to get to that question. I'm just going back through the chat. So hopefully you're still on when you see this. Mrs. Laura Mason. Good night. Hope you see an update. Hope everyone sees updates. Oh boy. Hey Grant. Welcome to the stream. I'm just going to leave this right here. If it will let me share it. While I go through more questions. Chris. We have received your tax return and it's being processed. For 3 weeks, should I be worried? Well, there's obviously a delay on your return. Obviously a delay on the return. So... Chris, do you have access to your transcripts? That could tell you more information. Getting access to those tax transcripts through the ID.me account if you haven't set one up yet. Can give you a little more information than Where's My Refund does. KP, there you go. Alright, so I'm glad I answered the question for you. I'm glad you saw it. I was afraid that you got off the stream because I know I answered it a while after you asked the question. I am really sorry, everybody, because I'm getting the chat questions in. I'm by myself now. Caitlin went to bed, so I'm on my own now for the chat, and like I already get a delay as it is on getting the comments with my streaming software, so trying to do my best to get through them. LaFlex. 1099 form from a state. Is it something you have to file? It is something you have to file. If you get a 1099, you have to file it. It's a card I got from the state's the amount I got from Iowa in 2021. I live in South Dakota, but we pay state in South Dakota. I work in Iowa and got an Iowa refund. Yeah, you do have to report any 1099 form you get. So it should have been claimed. Because what's probably going to happen is it's going to trigger a... if they report it before your return gets processed, it's going to trigger a flag in the IRS system that something you reported doesn't match what the state sent you. So it should have been claimed. If you didn't claim it, depends on how much it was. I'm assuming it's a 1099 for a refund. If it wasn't too big, the IRS just might adjust it automatically, in which case you don't have to worry about it. But if they may request an amended return or verification on that. They may request you send that 1099 form in. As I've stated with other people, you don't ever want to send anything in unless they ask you to. Queen Bee, you are welcome for the live. Princeal, can I get an update tonight with an NA on the transcript? Hopefully you'll get at least an update where you can see the transcript and the NA goes away and you can look at the codes. As I said earlier, it's less likely that you'll see the 846 refund issue code after you've been NA for a while. It usually takes at least another week after that. But, you know, at some point you can hopefully get the transcripts available, look and see what the codes are, and hopefully there's no trouble codes on there. Slip Speed went to bed probably already because that came in a few minutes ago. Grace Hunter, what time should we start checking transcripts? Go to bed, and if you really feel like you can't sleep, don't start checking them until like 6 a.m. I mean, they can update anytime between like 1 a.m. Eastern time, and then all throughout the rest of the morning. But I say 6 a.m. is a good safe time to start checking. Carice Brown, my transcript says as of March 7th and didn't start processing on February 14th. Will my transcript update tomorrow? Yeah, let's hope you see some sort of update tomorrow. If you don't have any freeze codes on there, you might see the update tomorrow. LaFlax says the 1099 was for less than 100, so it might not be that big of a deal. They might just adjust it on their own. You might not have to worry about it. Yeah, you might not have to worry about that then. Once again, everyone, there is a lot of comments I'm trying to go through here, so if I don't get to you, I can't promise I can get to everyone. Doing my best to get through it, everyone. Chris, I hope you heard that response I gave you on your question about the transcript. Because I did answer that question. So let me go back here a little further. Oh. Makashida. I was in the area department. Came out on 2/11, filed 2/28. I called, they said it was resolved, and I have to wait 8 weeks. Does it really take that long? My as of date is 3/7. No, it shouldn't take that long. If it was already resolved, it depends on when they resolved it. Depending on when they resolved it, it could be done sooner. If they fixed it, like say it was fixed like sometime this week, if it was fixed before Wednesday, you might see it this week or next week. It all depends on when it gets resolved. There's like a little cutoff date, which determines which batch they can put it in for final processing. I'm me. Before the live ends, just want to say thank you again. Very informational. Pray that your little ones feel better. Well, I appreciate that. I do appreciate everyone that sent the well wishes. I really hope that my kids wake up tomorrow feeling a lot better as well. Laconia's Empire. I have a 570 code and 971 code, but the letter I received was telling me the amount of my last stimulus check. Should I update tonight? That's probably... I mean, they sent all those letters about the stimulus checks to everybody. So that might not be what the 971 code you see is with the 570 code, honestly. So I can't necessarily tell you if it's going to be tonight or not. I mean, we can hope it is. We really, like I said, it depends on how long the 570 freezes on there. It really depends on what it's for. Tonzi Page says my last two codes are 768. That's the earned income credit, and 570. The IRS call. I called the IRS today, and they said they don't need anything on their end, just to be patient. What do you think? Will I see an update? Well. Yeah, that's really good advice. Let's really be patient, because if they don't need anything from you, it's something they can resolve without further information from you, so it's going to be a waiting game. So, as I said, if you have a 570 code, it's really like the only day you should be checking your transcripts anyway is Friday, because it's the only day it's ever going to update. Norma says I have a 766 and a 768, and then that's child tax credit and earned income credit. Then a 570 on my transcripts, filed February 5th. On where's my refund status, we apologize for the delay, and a 152. So with the letters, you don't, just because they put the 971 on the transcript, they don't always send the letter, especially if they don't need anything from you. Sometimes they don't even bother sending the letter. If it's a quick review, like when I say quick review, I'm talking about like less than like a month. A lot of times they won't even bother sending a letter for it, depending on what it's for. If it's for something like identity verification, they would send you a letter. If it's something for like an adjustment that was made to one of your credits, they would send you a letter, but probably after they had already made the adjustment. So, and oftentimes, you'll get a letter after you've already gotten your refund in some cases. So, really, the only thing you can do is keep checking your transcript and hope you see that 571 release code. Because, I mean, the most common thing that will happen is if you try to call the IRS, they're just going to tell you, oh, it's processing. You just got to be patient. There's a backlog. You know, we don't need anything from you, blah, blah, blah. There's a standard line they're just going to feed you. And there is one true thing they say to you in that, and that's really a patient waiting game. One of the most frustrating things you can have to deal with, honestly. Definitely feel that aggravation that, you know, people get from that. So if you haven't received a letter, well, if you haven't received a letter yet since it's been sent out, I mean, usually it takes a couple weeks to get to you, so like you can't judge by a week. Because, you know, once the IRS sends if they send a letter, then you know, then it's up to the post office on how long, you know. What you could do is you could check your notices. Because if you can check your transcript, then you have an account with the IRS. You can log into the regular account. I'm going to share my screen. Let me just get to the web page so I can show you. Because you can view any notices that they've mailed to you, if they've mailed you anything at all. So let me share my screen here. And we're going to expand this. So this is the IRS sign into your online account. You can get here just by Googling like IRS login to account. And then this is the IRS online account. And then it's basically the same exact process that you log into through the transcripts, except instead of going to your transcripts, this will go into your IRS account. And will show you like your account status and stuff, and you can in the I did a video on this too. There's a page you can check that will show you notices. I'm gonna pull up my video and just because I know I have that web page on the video itself. I don't remember what video I did it in. Mute. I found it. Alright, so I'm going to share that other page here. Alright, so let's share my screen here and go to the YouTube channel. So this is from the video, It's Raining 570 codes. And what you're going to do when you log into the IRS account is you want to go to where it says Notices and Letters. And that will show you any mailed letters they've mailed to you in the recent, couple weeks. And you do that. You log into that account the same way you log into your Transcript account. Me wants to know, do they send letters all together or do they send them at different times? They send them at different times. Okay, if you have no notices, they didn't mail you anything yet, so I tend to think that I tend to say when they don't actually mail you a letter for it, the 570 freeze, the review or whatever is delaying your refund isn't going to be as long as, say, someone that has it frozen for months on end. So it's not going to be, hopefully not going to be a complete nightmare wait time for you. Because usually, if they don't send a letter, it's something they can resolve on their end fairly quickly. Joseph with the nice music. Well, I was going to have better music today, but I had those audio issues at the beginning of the stream, so I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I had a whole big, awesome playlist of royalty-free music that was better than the same old generic music this thing puts, this stream software allows us to use. Mrs. Marie, how does filing bankruptcy affect your tax refund, if at all? It can affect it in that you, if you file bankruptcy and some of your debts were eliminated through that, then the debtors, the people that you owed money to, in an effort to reclaim the money that they was quote unquote forgiven, could send a form to the IRS requesting payment on those debts. So you're you're not paying them directly, but they're taking payment from your refund, and that would be how they would go about offsetting the refund through a creditor that wasn't like a government agency, as if they sent one of those letters from a bankruptcy. Twinsy, my friend's last two codes are 896 and 2. Are you sure it's not 846? And the 2021 dates cycle date means that their current return isn't on file yet. I'm just looking at my transcript codes here to see if 896 would be something that would be showing up there. Okay, so the 846, it's from the child tax credit from last year, or the advance payments. And the 290, that's what they used to zero the account out after the payments were complete, to reset for the new tax year. Because payments were made in advance and credited to the account in advance before the current year's taxes were on file, they used the 290 code as like a reset code before the new tax year begins, because all that information goes on that 2021 tax return. But anything that's dated with a cycle date that has the cycle date that starts with 2021 is not applicable. Doesn't affect anything that's going on with the current tax return they're waiting for, because all the current stuff would say 2022 because it's being done in the year 2022. But it would be on that 2021 transcript. I know it's ridiculous. It's a terrible system, but that's just how it works. Tuesday. For those who get weekly updates, on the transcripts, will it be Friday or Saturday when it updates? I got a 570 from the previous week. If it updates, it will be on a Friday morning. Saturday mornings are for Where's My Refund? Oh boy. DV. The cell phone broke today. I have insurance on the phone, but they had to send it in the mail to get the replacement. So when they send the code to verify it through the IRS transcript system, they won't be able to get the code. Oh, that's a bummer. Is it an Apple? An iPhone? Because if you had like an iPad, your messages would go to the iPad. I get text messages on my iPad all the time. Mrs. Marie, if you're in the middle of bankruptcy and it hasn't been like dismissed yet, like if you're still dealing with that, I'm not. This is honestly a situation I'm not too familiar with as far as like when you're in the middle of it. But if it's not resolved, it really depends on whether the creditors filed the forms with the IRS to claim any of your refund. Travis wants to know, when you log into the transcript, it says access denied. That means there's too many people trying to check the transcript and the servers are down. Not an uncommon thing. Was happening a lot earlier in the tax season. There's a video for that too. Anyone that's new to the channel, if you go to the DS Entertainment YouTube channel, hopefully after you subscribe, you can find all sorts of tax videos to answer some of these questions. And, well, I did one earlier this year when everyone melted down the transcript because millions of people were trying to check their transcripts all at once after Path lifted, completely crashing the system. And it seems to happen every so often because people learn to expect that the transcript system will update on Fridays, Thursday night into Fridays. The thing is, if people are crashing it now because it's midnight, they're crashing it for no reason because there's not going to be, there's very unlikely to see an update at midnight. Usually later in the, like early in the morning, but later from now. All right, everybody. It is after midnight. I think I've answered most of the questions. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the newbies that came by. Checked us out. Hope you guys stick around. There is going to be a live stream tomorrow. We'll do the Where's My Refund watch party because I'm predicting it now. There's going to be a bunch of you that see the old 846 tomorrow. And then hopefully you don't just abandon me. I may have to start singing on my stream just to keep people entertained. All right. That's going to do it for me, everybody. I hope you all have a good night. Get some sleep. And hopefully when you wake up tomorrow, you have an 846 refund issued for 3922. Take care, friends.